Hey,
Hi.
there you are. Nice to see you.
Hey, we have 5 people that are already here.
Oh my golly.
Harvey and Karen Sanchez. Hi, Karen Sanchez.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're going to have people from Atlanta join on.
Oh, cool.
Because we
Excellent.
have a meetup going on there right now.
Wow. Fantastic.
Mhm.
Like right now?
Yes, right this minute. And guess what they have that we don't have?
What do they have?
They have Sublime Donuts. Hold on one second. My phone is ringing and it's in the other room. I just want to make sure that it's not Tina about what I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not. Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm
I'm back.
Awesome.
Great. So yeah. Oh, good. We already got a chat going on. Hi everyone, and Q&A. Show them where the Q&A is. We have 11 people jumped on here now.
Wow.
And then here comes Johnson. Hey, Johnson.
Hey, Johnson.
Oh my God, look how many people there. That's it. Is it cool there? Is there air conditioning? Hi, you guys. Wow, we're going to have a full crowd today. All right, I'm going to go take us on to Facebook Live as well, so other people can join on. Hi, everyone. Look at pretty Marjorie. I have my cursor on Marjorie's face. That's my client, Marjorie. Love you. Wow, look at all the gorgeous people there. Hi, gorgeous people. Hey, where's Elizabeth? Is she there? Elizabeth!
Hey.
Elizabeth had a big audition today in Atlanta. She flew down there.
So good. George Pierre, his only feedback was, "Damn, woman."
Yay.
Hey! Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, I saw. And then it was so awesome because you did Facebook Live. It was really, really, really good. Okay, good. Let me take us. Hi, James. Introduce yourself. Let me wait till I get us on Facebook Live and then we'll introduce
Yeah,
you.
sure.
How about that?
Good idea.
Yes, we'd like to do that. Thanks. Thank you. Oh, no, we don't want Gil. Gil needs to sign out. Sorry. It always does that. Why is that? Because it takes us on here. All right, let me do this. And then I'll get us. You talk amongst yourselves. Say hello, James.
Hi, you guys.
James, can you tell everyone where you are?
Sure. I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Cool. We're in Atlanta.
I know. So how's the weather in Atlanta?
Beautiful. It's hot. It's hot.
I like that. It's beautiful.
It's hot. It's hot and beautiful. That's pretty good.
Just like me.
So, and are you all based in Atlanta? Do you make your way up to LA? Show of hands. How many of you travel for work or travel for auditions? How many of you just audition in Atlanta? How many audition just in Atlanta? And how many travel to other places to audition? Okay, cool. Yeah.
About half and half. And we have.
How many are willing to travel?
Good. Okay, that's great. Yeah.
And we have some actors here who got here today.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And some here that have been their whole life. So we have a very wide range of Atlanta.
Who got here to Atlanta today?
Yeah, exactly. Moved today.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Congratulations.
All right, you guys, we are on Facebook Live. Yay!
Hey.
Okay. All right, fix that. Hi, everyone. I'm Valerie Hubbard, and I'm the CEO of Actors Fast Track. I live on the beach in Ventura, California, and so that's pretty cool. James, you told them you live in New York, right?
Yep, I live in Brooklyn, New York.
And your company is?
James Hout Studio. I coach actors. I work with people on breaking through the blocks in their way, stepping into their own self-confidence, unlocking the text, and really shining in front of the camera.
And James, how many actresses did you coach to series regular last year?
Well, actors and actresses over the last 2 or 3 years, like 4 people to series regular. Yeah, and one actor has booked 8 films in a row.
Wow.
And she's actually started turning down jobs because she's too busy. So, yeah, pretty exciting.
Crazy. Yeah. Good. Well, today these guys have been meeting for an hour prior to this. The people in Atlanta with Johnson and going through our the questions that we ask in our marketing document or our business plan. So every client, every actor that comes to us, starts with a business plan. And it always starts with brand, like what are you selling? And unfortunately, like there's 2 sides to this. The bad side is that, I talked to an actor and for 5 years I've been talking to them and nothing's happening in their acting career. But they're going to another branding workshop. So, I don't like my actors to do that over and over again. But the other thing I want you to know is, brand is evolution. Brand is something, and brand is so important right now. It's more important than it's ever been, because the deal is the business is splitting. The business is splitting the way it's done. So the old way of doing business is get an agent and wait for them to get you an audition. And so it was a huge amount of out of your control. And now social media and brand and platform puts you back in the driver's seat. Okay? How do I know that? Because I have a client who about 15 months ago now hired us, and she had under 30,000 followers on Instagram. She was still working. She was already shooting scenes with influencers. This is a William Esper trained actress, right? So now, today, she's at 350,000. She's making $6,000 in revenue a month from her social media following. And she had to cancel her class this morning, her coaching with me, because she was hanging out with Lil' Kim. Okay. And so that's what she's doing today in New York. Right. And so, that's the power of what we have to our avail now as actors, is that understanding. And don't get caught up in the story that, oh, well, if I'm an influencer, if I have big numbers, that's going to hurt my acting. If you don't have anything right now, don't get caught up in something that might or could happen that probably won't happen. Because the truth of it is if everything fails right now, like if the whole, everything fails right now, here's what's not going to fail, y'all: social media and platform, because people have to sell their products, and they will always sell their products. People always sell their products. That's how you make money, right? And you are the people that are selling you. So when you're selling you have to start with, how do I describe me? And I remember when I first heard that, I thought, oh, well, I'm a dependable actress and I memorize my lines well, or whatever. It was like so stupid. It's like, no, who are you? Because there's no other you out there. So brand is evolution. It's also essence, which I think will help you a lot. Yeah, because like some people go, well, I need to get that cop scene for my reel. So how does my brand, if I'm the quirky chick, fit into that? Well, how does it? I've seen a plenty of quirky cops, So that's what you bring to the table. And by the way, quirky is a bad word. Don't use quirky. It's overused. So what do you want to talk about brand? James, what do you know about brand today? Because that's what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about brand and platform. We're going to get more into social media in August. We're going to interview Natalie on how she built those followers.
Cool. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, one thing that I would say, you know, if we're looking at brand, we are talking about a story, right? We're talking about a story. And branding is creating a story that tells something about the product, right? And in this case, we're talking about actors. Like, you know, what is the story? What is the story about you that someone else will go, oh, I get who you are. I get how to cast you. Right? And we do that. We create that story visually in our headshots, in our reel, in Instagram, you know, pictures on Facebook, right? We create it visually. We create it in terms of story, right? We have language to describe ourselves, and we also can use video. We can have, you know, video that tells a story that says, this is who I am as an actor, right? And so we want to actually craft a picture that a casting person wants to buy, right? So we have this, you know, part of it is like, what is my truth? Like, you know, what do I offer that's special? And I want to offer it, you know, the buyer is the director or the casting person. And so we want to find a way to speak to them in a way that they understand. So this is part of our challenge, right? How do we talk to those people in their language? And I was talking with some of the actors that I coach in the city yesterday. And I said, you know, when you get a breakdown and a casting person has decided, I want to see you for this role, right? And you read the little description on the thing and it says, you know, 40s, cute, you know, fun, you know, knows yourself well, blah, 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 right? And we might say like, oh, why did they call me in for that, right? And I would say, think the exact opposite. That language they're using is telling you about you. Their language they're using is actually telling you how they see you, right? That language is how casting people think. So when you get called in for roles, jot down the language that describes that character, right? Because there's something about that language that either describes you or it describes how you're presenting yourself because they called you in for that role.
Okay. You said so much right now. Can I just pull out some things that you said? Number one, marketing is storytelling. That is what it has come to. He said, create your own story. Yes. What I want to say is usually the thing that you take for granted about yourself is the thing that's going to make you $1 million. And it's also often the ugly about you. So Garrett Wagner, who is one of our great clients who books all the time, he asked a question. We did a branding session for our clients on Tuesday. And he said, well, what if it's a bad person and you're not a bad person? And I said, Garrett, have you ever been bad? Like, I didn't say that to him, but I'm saying this to you. I said it in a different way, clearly, at that point. But what I said is that, have you ever been bad? Like, every character that comes out of you, it's the good or the bad of you. And we all have the good and the bad of us. We all have the light and the dark of us. I mean, haven't you ever seen The Drama Mask? You know, there's the drama and the comedy, right? So it's like, that is who we are, and that is part of our job. So there might be a character in us, like the evil woman that kills everyone, that, you know, that makes us $1 million. Of course, I'm not the evil woman that kills everyone, but I have a darkness in me that I can bring up and shine a light on and turn into a character that I sell.
Yeah.
Right? there's a part of that that happens as well. So I want to make it really clear about that. Like, if that's what's making, you know, my friend Cricket always used to say, go where the love is, right? And so if that's what's calling you, if that's the thing you keep getting cast as over and over again, that's your money ball. That's your character that always, like, look, mine is that nosy next door neighbor, or that dumb, earthy, like, maid that doesn't know anything and is really clueless and a bully about it. Like, if it's in that row, I'm going to book it because I'm the best one that does that. Like, I'm clear about that, right? If I'm in the room, I'm going to book it. So you need to know what is the thing that what you have that's when you're in the room, what are you going to book it? And you said talk to people in their language. And you said really quickly, you go, those are your buyers. Okay, some of these people might not know that, so I just wanted to put a little preface around that. At Actors Fast Track, we don't call it your acting career, we call it your acting business. And we do weekly sales calls to our customers or our buyers. Once we know what we're selling, we do that. So the customers, your customers are executive producers, writers, showrunners, directors, and last, casting directors, because they're the doorman to that. Agents and managers are just like you. They are salesmen in your company, right? So when you bring on a salesman, if they're not doing, you know, you need to learn how to sell yourself before you should be bringing on a salesman, PS. Right? If you don't know how to sell yourself, how are you going to tell someone to sell you? Because they might think they know you, but do they know you? No, they don't know you. No one knows you like you know you. So you have to find a way of packaging the thing that's going to bring money in the door. And everything else, all the good ideas, because listen, Marjorie's my client. She has about 1 million ideas a minute. Okay. And so she literally does. That's how her brain functions. So she has like this huge storeroom where she has to go put that stuff if it starts to get in the way of like her getting the actions that she needs to take. Because you guys are creatives. So you're very much idea people.
Yes.
Right. But it's about looking at what's bringing in the revenue. It's about looking about like what you know you can book in your sleep. And the last thing I want to say about what you said are the breakdowns. What we get used to reading when we get an audition, we look at the breakdown, right? And we're like, oh, this is right. I think breakdowns can be very dangerous as well. I mean, James teaches you how to use them well, right? You know, but I also think we can put too much weight into them. They can say, well, they're not looking for me. If you go into the room saying they're not looking for you, guess what? They're not going to be looking for you. So you're like, oh, and you guys make up stories based on no absolute knowledge. You'll tell me, well, you know, they weren't really looking for my type because they decided they wanted to do this and they did this and this is, and I'm like, no, you don't know that. You made that up. You made that up, right? So think about how you make up stories in your lives, right? So all of those things you brought up are really, really important. You guys, listen, should I do my like branding statement for them too?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to tell you that this is over a 34-year career that this has occurred, that my brand. So I'm Valerie Hubbard. I'm the buoyant, ballsy broad who will take you through the fun house. I'm a cross between Kathy Bates and Drew Barrymore. I play that lady that lives across the street from you. When you see me come in with a casserole dish, you turn off your lights and pretend like you're not home. I'm the adorable bully. And so that would be a fair description of what I do, right? And if you
so I want to pause you for a second, Valerie.
Yeah.
I want you guys, you people in Atlanta, how many of you, from what Valerie just said, how many of you have an idea of how to cast Valerie? Just raise your hands. Great. Yeah. I mean, Valerie is able in that paragraph to communicate to a casting person or a producer or a director what she is going to nail, right? The thing that she's going to sing out. And so, like, think about that in terms of, like, like how many of us have that capacity to just, express so simply and so clearly our identity as a performer, that, and this is marketing identity, right? It's not Valerie. It's not all things Valerie can do. It's not the spectrum of Valerie. It is.
And you don't see that you don't land on I played only the neighbor.
Exactly.
Right. It doesn't make you think, oh, she plays only the neighbor. One time I asked this girl in a mock agent interview, I go, tell me about, how would you sell yourself? And she said, well, I'm that girl next door, which you like yawn. And she goes, that doesn't have any underwear on. And the minute she said that, I thought of about 7 roles that I could cast her in, because I was also a scene study teacher. So I was always having to think of material to give my students to act in. And I thought, oh, she could do Jessica, and This Is Our Youth. I just went down the line of everything I could cast her in. And you have to remember that morning, that agent or that manager, if you're talking to them, they looked at the breakdown. So they have those breakdowns in their heads, right? The important thing to know is this is business now we're talking about. We have fun at it. And also, it's not just about before you get in the room, it's about after you get in the room. But I have to get actors to think like a business person and for a moment take the emotion out of it. And you're not choosing to go after someone because you love the show. I mean, I love Project Runway. I'm not going to go be on it, right? You have to, as an actor, you have to find what is the right demographic for you. If you're out here selling to something that is a dream because you love the show, but if the show doesn't match what you're selling, and I see that all the time with actors. Because I ask actors, what's your dream? That's the first thing I ask when an actor walks in the door. And a lot of times their dream is not quite as an actor, but more as a audience member, to be frank. So there's a difference between falling in love with watching movies and TV and actually wanting to be the people that act it out. And I think there's a fine line. I think you should have both to be a great actor, but this needs to trump this. Right? The love of the craft needs to trump the love, I believe.
Yeah. So Valerie, there's a question that came up. This is from, it doesn't have a name, Galaxy S8. Shouldn't you be worried about typecasting?
Okay. Typecasting, yes, you should be worried if you're not typed. You should be very worried if you're not typed. I mean, that's a luxury. Oh my God, I played 6 maids this week on national television in different shows. I'm going to make from that, if I played 6 co-stars in 1 week, which is impossible, but maybe someone did it, that would be, that would be 6,000 probably times 6. So that would be over a course of the next 10 years, probably at about $45,000 to $50,000 for you, money in your bank. So make that a luxury problem. Don't make the problem before it exists, is my question. And listen, let me explain to you. If I went to the store to buy green beans and I needed Italian cut green beans for the meal I was making that night, and I was going to get canned Italian green beans, right? I would go to the green bean thing. First of all, you're telling me, oh, well, I don't want to have a label. Okay, great. So you're in that bin in the back, bent up, damaged cans that I might pick up for 99 cents if I don't have any money, right? That, the dented cans without the labels that you pay on a chance that it'll be okay. Like, who does that, right? Starving people. but you want to be bought. You want to be working actor. So you've got your thing. You're Mexican green beans. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not doing this. I'm not going, oh, French green beans, Mexican green beans, I'm not doing that. All I'm doing is this till I get to, aha, Italian green beans. And I purchase you. So here's what you guys do. The first time you don't get picked, you change your freaking label, right? Right? So you change your label. So now you're like, okay, I'll be Italian green beans. And then I come back to the store. This time I'm looking for Mexican, and you just changed your label, right? So, right, that's what you do. And then by not being specific, you're not allowing someone to get you. You're just trying to get the first job, the first 5 jobs, the first 10 jobs. And then, you know, look, Brandon Morales is an old student of mine that I taught business of acting. If you look at his IMDb, the first page is him playing cops. Now he's getting opportunity to play other things, right? And so it doesn't, you know, but what you're going to get hired is what you do best at. And if you're hiding that, you're not going to get hired.
Yeah. I mean, and what I would add to that too is that everyone has a type. We all have a type, right? We all are in a form, right? We're informed, right? We are in a form in the world. And the more that we understand how other people see and relate to that form and how we communicate through that form, the more power we have in being able to actually take control of our marketing presentation. If we don't understand that, and if we try and say, oh no, I can play anything. Like if you walk into a room for a casting person and you're meeting with them and you say, oh, I can play anything. They're gonna like, you know, they're gonna be like, oh my God, I have no idea how to use this person. And this person has no idea how I should use them. Right? We basically disempower ourselves. Now this is a very different, you know, when you're training and you're a young actor and you're in school and you're playing lots of different roles and you're flexing your muscles as an actor, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a very healthy thing. It's a good part of our training to flex us, because we are going to discover in that process, we're going to discover where we sing, where our voice shines out. We're going to discover like, oh, wait a minute, I do those characters really well. I mean, the character that I do, I'm the nice neighbor who falls in love with your aunt and fumblingly brings her flowers every day, you know, which she throws out the back, right? I'm the romantic buffoon, and I do that really, really well. And I can play other things too, but I play that character. And what's interesting is that if I look at my resume as an actor, what I discover is that almost every character I play has some aspect of the romantic buffoon, right? But I've played a CIA station chief. I have played a forensic archaeologist. I've played all kinds of characters on stage.
They have that romantic buffoon in that, and that's what makes it interesting.
Exactly.
You know, like, look, you guys, we're born from ritual, from prototype. I know you all know This Is America, you know, Childish Gambino, and you saw the pose, right? Which is the Uncle Tom. But actually, before that, it was the Pantalone character, right? The guy that, like, you know, we don't like. Okay, like this one. Remember, he does that on the car where he's on top of the car and he's doing that. That's a character derivative of what we as actors are born from, which is ritual, right? And through those came prototypical, like, look, Tennessee Williams wrote a ton of plays based on 5 characters, right? And so there isn't, you know, you are unique, but you also have to figure out what lane you're in too, right? Like, you know, and what's great about social media and the new platform is there's so much availability to create your own lane. Take Donald Glover for an instance. That's another example of someone that is so what we're seeing now, which is like he's everything. He's producer, writer, director, singer, dancer. He's like everything. And now that, but what he's done is he's packaged it into one person, even though he's Childish Gambino and he's that. Look at the marketing that's going on out there now. It's fascinating to me because it's so exciting because it's like the Wild West, right? I mean, you can create your own platform. You don't have to wait for anyone. And it's so exciting. I wish I was 22 in New York again right now, starting out. Not really. I'm glad that I lived because, you know, it's kind of a messed up place right now, but I'm glad I lived where I live. I mean, I went to New York when I was in high school in the 70s. You know, and we went to Windows of the World and ordered a bottle of wine with a fake ID because it was like the drinking age was 18. Like, without chaperones. And Times Square had like Deep Throat in the, you know, running, and it wasn't Mickey Mouse Times Square, you know, that it is now. And so crazy, right? Evolution. Branding is evolution, you guys. But, you know, I think from the time I was 22, when I got out of acting school until today, 34 years later, that I'm still the adorable bully. I was always that. Even in high school, when I was doing plays in high school, I was Mary Tilford in the Children's Hour. She's the adorable bully. She's an evil, adorable bully.
Yeah, and speaking to that, you guys, we can apply the same thing to like, you know, Shakespeare, right? I mean,
yes.
I played Macbeth, right? What is Macbeth? He's the romantic buffoon to his wife. He's trying to make his wife happy because he's never enough for her. She wants him to be king, so he's fumblingly, right? But in the tragic terms, you know, like that's the dark. Right, this is the scary version, right? The anti-hero version of the romantic buffoon is Macbeth. So we, you know, we have to understand that when we're marketing ourselves, when we market ourselves and we say, you know, I'm creating a brand, that brand doesn't limit us. That's a misunderstanding. What the brand does is the brand gets you in the door, right? The brand gets you in the door. You know, once we're in the door, we can listen to them and give them what they're asking for, right? Because they're going to give us direction and move us towards what they want. But the real struggle, you know, is getting in the door. How do we get in the door? How do we get someone to call us in? How do we get somebody to come before them? Now, we don't want to fool them, right? We don't want to mislead them, because we want the message of the branding to actually match the product. Otherwise, we don't buy it again, right? If I sold you something and I said it tastes like chocolate and you buy it and it tastes like peanut butter and you hate peanut butter, you're not going to buy that thing again. Or if you know, like, so we want the branding to speak a truth about us. We want it to communicate something that's actually true and meaningful that they can then really latch onto. And I'll tell you something, you know, the story people tell about, like, oh, you know, I went in there and I walked out the door and I wasn't what they wanted and I blew it. I will tell you guys that almost every other audition that a client has where they say that, they either get cast in that role that they thought they blew, or they immediately get called in for a different role. Because it wasn't the casting person didn't like them, right? The casting person may not have given the actor the feedback or the reaction the actor was expecting or wanted.
Yeah, and this is really important what you're saying right now, James. Because of, sorry, there's a lawnmower right outside my house. Anyway, I can't do anything about it. But it's really important because now I lost my train of thought. James, take me back.
So, right. So you go into an audition and you are giving them something, and then you as an actor, we sometimes come out the door and we judge. We have a judgment about it.
It's that thought of like starting to go over there. That's the thing. Like, you have to stay out from over there. You make up all of these things that they're thinking, this is the story. I was shooting a Disney show, and we had a really bad dress rehearsal. When you shoot a Disney show, there's the night Disney comes, like, you know, before you do the shooting. The last run through is for the Disney execs. And so they always come to every Disney show I've ever done. And so it was really bad. The blocking was all messed up. And I remember I was driving up here, actually, where I live now, for a retreat. And I was like, oh my God, I had the whole weekend. I'm like, they're going to write me out. They're going to write me out. They're going to write me out. And I get here and my part was bigger. And then the director came to me on Monday and said, I'm so sorry. I messed up your thing because I gave you bad blocking. Right? And I thought, how much time did I waste in my life parking my brain over there and about they were going to fire me? And, you know, and I thought that's what we do all the time. Not everyone's going to say yes to you. And the quicker you get through the no's, the better. But what happens is a lot of people get stuck on a no. How many of you guys have been stuck on a no? Well, you know, I never really had an acting career because I couldn't figure that agent game out. You see, 30 years ago, I had a conversation with an agent, Don Buchwald. I mean, the biggest agent in the business. And he said, oh, girl, you're going to be a star. And then he didn't sign me. So do you see, 30 years ago, true story, she said that to me, 30 years ago, stuck on one no. One no. Very important, yeah. Right? Thank you, James.
So we have a couple questions. So Anne is saying,
let's take some questions.
So Anne says, I have generated my first branding postcard. She'll cut you down to size with a smile on her face. When do I prep for my second picture with a different brand and send it? I have an immediate thought of that, which is yes. that when you create something in the brand, you have to let it simmer. You have to let it simmer. You have to let people experience that. You know, especially if you're putting yourself out there in the world in a new way, right? We don't want to switch. We don't want to switch it right away. It's like if you went to a grocery store, like Valerie's talking about, you know, the Italian green beans, right? Well, if I found the Italian green beans, and then I go back and they've changed the logo and changed the image, I might be standing there going, but I had these great green beans, right? And now I can't find them. And this happens with actors. When actors go into an audition, right, they wear a red dress, right? Let's say that you wear a red dress or a guy wears a blue shirt, right? And the casting people, when you come to your callback, the actor's like, ooh, I have this new shirt I want to wear instead, or I have a new dress, a different color. The casting people are like, well, where's the girl in the red dress? We really like the girl in the red dress. Where is she? Right? Because
that's how they identify you.
Exactly.
You have to have a label to be identified. I mean, think about it. That's how you identify it. I mean, we have a ton of clients, and you know, I mean, I have more than one Elizabeth, right? Like I have more than one, you know, different names. And so, of course, yes, absolutely. And also, you gotta, like, that's the character that you're taking out right now, and that's going to get hired in New York TV, which is what you want. So that woman that can go up against J. Smith Cameron, if they can't get J. Smith Cameron, right? And she's got a bite to her, and she can do that. If you want to introduce a different, maybe little spectrum of yourself, you could throw that in the way of a description of a character you just played. But I think that you should stay with that log line in that picture for a while.
Yep.
What you were saying.
I agree. Totally.
Okay. Next.
Whoops. So Tina says, we got an email question from Nick this morning. He asked, teachers say that agents want to know which CDs know you. What steps can you take to get to know these CDs, and to what degree is it considered knowing? Having taken an intensive with him?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Nick. Okay. So Nick, I want to do you a little demonstration. Look, there's me. This is my book, Rule Breakers. Okay, this is you, right? This is you, and I'm the person that you're trying to become in a relationship with, right? And I'm busy and I'm having a life, and you send me a warm letter, right? You see, I don't even see that right now. And then I'm busy and having a life, and you meet me at a cocktail party. I'm like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Okay, great, nice. I don't notice you, right? And then you send me another postcard, and then you meet me at a casting workshop, and then you send me another letter, and then we meet again at a wine store or something, and I go, do I know you? Right, so that's generally how we get someone's attention. So it takes more than one time, right? And how you do that is there's a million ways to do that. There's warm letters, there's casting workshops, there's postcards, there's pitching yourself on the phone, there's drop-offs to that office or going to a panel of casting directors. That's how you get to know them. And what happens is, I'll tell you a little story that has to do with brand and getting to know someone, which will answer the question. So we had a client named Ashley Alvarez, and she was the hot Latina. She's Cuban American. She was doing theater. That was her want to be like, you know, Rattlestick Theater and all those places in New York, right? And so she was super branded. She'd worked with me. She was really branded. So she went to a workshop with David Capriolotis, who was the casting director for Manhattan Theater Club in New York City, very important casting director. And it was a 3-week workshop, and there was 10 women and 2 guys, of course, right? And they all were told to bring a monologue that best fitted them. And so when she walked into the waiting room, as most actors do, they all were chatting. And she found out that this person had gone to Yale, that person had gone to Juilliard, that person had gone to NYU, and each school that came at her, and she'd gone to Atlantic, but she hadn't gone to one of those, right? Each school that came at her, she shrunk lower and lower and lower, feeling like less than, right? So then it came time for the class to start. And they all did their monologues that we had carefully chosen to be within her brand. Then David Capriolotis got up in front of the class and he said, there's only one person today that showed me how to cast her in this entire room, and that is your job, and that's Ashley Alvarez. And now she calls him David Cap. They're friends. They go out together. He's brought her in for auditions. So how she did that was by showing up fully realized and fully prepared, and left those Juilliard bitches in the dust. Right? And so it really, really, you know, and look, you know, I mean, half my clients went to those schools, so more than half, like 3/4 of my clients went to those schools because, you know, you think, oh, I'm going to go to Northwestern, right, Johnson, and everything's going to be good because I went to the Meghan Markle school.
So,
all right.
And
yeah, do we have a question from the floor out there? Yes.
I'll ask a question.
Yes.
I have a question. What would be
You
a
come
good,
first,
I would say what would be a good hey Bather. What would be a good way to follow up after an audition? Would it be a warm letter, or I'm just thinking,
You know, I think sending him, George, because you came down there and stuff, I would send him a little gift card from like, hey, Marjorie, do they have gift cards at Ponce City Market, like for that you could eat at the different food places?
Some of them do, yes.
Yeah, or maybe like one that you could eat in that market there. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Send him a gift card for Sublime Donuts.
okay.
Hey, Sublime Donuts, we're tagging you on this. We expect to be sponsored at all our events. Were they good donuts, y'all?
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So
I know, really good. So yeah, so I would send him a little gift card from like Sublime, like $10, enough for a dozen or whatever. And say, hey, I really appreciate that. You showing me the love, and have some donuts on me. These were phenomenal.
Got it.
I just think, and I'm not saying this for every audition. I'm not saying this if you go in for a commercial or whatever, but she's building a relationship here with George Pierre. George Pierre is rocking out in Atlanta. He's someone that you want to be on his team and you want to be on his ensemble of actors. And so Elizabeth saw that opportunity and jumped on. So when you get on there, Elizabeth, you want to take real good care. So when my dad sold $1 million machines, that's what he did for a living. So the people that bought the $1 million machines, they got the ham at Christmas, or the whatever you send if it's, not ham, but, they sent a ham at Christmas. They got, if they had thought about buying the $1 million machine, they got the fruit cake, right? If they were kind of a warm lead, but had never really brought me in, they got the box of nuts. And then if they were a cold lead, they got the Christmas card, right? So you always want to take care of your warmer leads on your list the most, because they're your paying customers, right? Your paying customers are the most important people because they will continue to pay you, right? So when you have a casting director, like I have an audition for a movie on Friday in LA, it's an improv, James.
Awesome.
Yeah, and they're going to shoot it 90 minutes straight through, right? So anyway, but I have this audition, right? So, so this is a casting director that's cast me in 5 things, you guys. She cast LA Confidential. She's cast me in a video game that I worked on for a year. She's cast me in 4 films, right? She's likes me. She's a fan. So of course I'm going to get in my car and drive an hour into the city to go into the room with the director. George Pierre told us at our event that he had an audition and called in 30 or 40 people, and 5 people opted to drive down to his office. And Clint Eastwood's people were going to be in the room. Right? I was mind blown by that. Here's what I see in Atlanta, and this just being damn honest. There's a lot of people there asleep at the wheel. And you guys have like gold. Literally, Tiffany's is there. They've opened the door. They put the jewelry on the counter, and it's yours for the taking. That's how much work is there right now. Yes, question behind you. Elizabeth, did that help?
That was great, Valerie. Thank you.
Fabulous. Yes, yes, hi.
Hi, I'm Christine.
Hi, Christine.
I'm new to Atlanta. I have some small parts acting in Virginia. I want to know, where do I start in Atlanta, and how do I get in those to know groups or whatever?
Okay. So the first thing I would do is, where you are right now, Get Seen Studio is a great place. They have a lot of classes with casting. The first thing I would suggest is that if you're clear about what you're selling, and are you clear about what you're selling?
I'm the loudmouth that could take over a room, and I cuss a lot.
Okay, great. Do you have a good picture that says that?
No, all my pictures are just pretty.
Okay. Well, so one of the first things I would tell you to do is, if that's what you're selling, you need to have a logo that says that, and that's your headshot. Okay. And then, do you have a clip that says that?
No.
Okay. So that's easy to do. This is called your iPhone or your phone. You can write a little scene and shoot a little scene for yourself. Just to have one little clip, because you have to have video. It's imperative that you have video. Okay. And then you go out there and sell. You go out there and sell. Okay. Look, Johnson, if you want to talk to one of our people about, like, well, could you help me with that? Yeah, that's what we do. We write business plans for actors and help people sell themselves. Right. So we're happy to talk to you about working with us. But I think the first thing that you need to do is get a headshot that says that. Now, my headshot notes, you know what, make sure we got all their emails. Make sure we're going to send them, Johnson, a copy of the headshot notes. You can also get those free if you go to our website. If you hang out on the website for a minute, it says download the headshot notes. Get those before you go to a headshot experience. Okay? Because listen, you guys, when you go to a headshot experience, what you want to do is you want to be really clear about what you're selling. So understanding that spectrum. So let me take James. So James is the buffoon love, right? So say he's playing that in an evil, dark way. So he probably would want maybe a darker, like he would, you know, like he would be really right for, if any of you guys watch Shameless, the professor that was the alcoholic, that was always out of love, right? Kind of thing, like you could play. So you need something that I think would be like a jacket and maybe like a sweater or a shirt underneath it, very sort of professor or you know, and it could be like a little darker. So I think you need that guy. And the thought behind that guy would be, how come she doesn't love me? So I would give him, so what I tell actors to do is choose the 3 to 4 characters that you can walk out right now in your brand and book, right? So I know you've seen movies where you go, oh, I could have done that part. Well, all right, so you're like, so in this picture, I'm Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids because I think I could play that part. So if I think I could play Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids, I'm probably going to get like a red soccer jersey with maybe a little white collar and put my hair up in a ponytail. And I'm going to think like, where's the boys? Can we get this game started? And I'm going to take a picture in thought. Do you see? Because your eyes are making the thought and you're an actor. So you want to choose 4 characters, figure out what's going to say that that's that person from here on up, like here on up, right? You want to say what's going to make this person a character look-wise. And then you have to think about the dialogue while you're looking down the lens of the camera. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right, go get the headshot. All right, let's take something from the internet here. Okay, someone said when sending postcards out, do you, Anita St. Louis asked this, do you put your personal return address? Yes, I think so. Initially you do that because you want to see what kind of, you know, you're always going to get, you guys, between a 10 to 20% attrition rate when you send things out. So that means that 10 people aren't going to get, 10 out of 100 aren't going to get what you mail them. You know, so if you're staying at about 10 to 20%, you're in a good range and you can try to fix that more. But as long as 8 out of 10 are getting there, you're good. Yes, Emil, just audition for a pilot. Oh, good. I have names of the pilot writers. Can I reach out to them? Yes, Amel, you should reach out to the writers. So reach out to the writers and say, hey, I don't know if you caught my audition, but I'm Amel and I would really, really enjoyed working on that role. Good luck with the pilot, no matter what you decide to do. And I look forward to seeing you again. You don't need to send a gift. And I think, you know, how many times has Cromer Casting brought you in? If they brought you in a lot, if someone keeps bringing you in a lot, they definitely deserve a gift. The only reason I suggested a gift for Elizabeth is because she lives in New York. She pitched herself on this project. She got her ass down to Atlanta, and it's a series lead, and he loved her in the room. And so she, you know, that's like a really big fish for her. So I'm like, give that fish extra things. If you feel Christine Cromer is a really good fish for you, I believe that's her first name, then you need to take that action as well, Amel. No, Anita, do not put your agent's return address if they're not paying for the card. If you are scared about putting your home address, get a, get a post office box, y'all. All right? Get a post office box. The headshot notes are on the Facebook client page. I think they are, Devin. But Devin, I believe they are hooked. Devin's one of our clients in New York. Yes, I believe they are hooked to the Facebook client page. But we'll make sure everyone in this room gets them. And if you don't, if you can't find them, they're on my site. Let us know and we'll make sure that you get them because we give those out free all the time. And they're just some notes to help you stay you know, because a lot of times what happens is actors buy headshot things and then they spend all this money and then they go unprepared or not prepared in the right way. And that's a waste of money. And I don't want you wasting your money. You've already wasted enough of your money. Next, James.
Let's see. We have a lot of, so there's a much earlier one. Garrett said, my brand is the adorable douchebag you almost slap but kiss instead. My question is, when auditioning and or playing the role, how much do you lean into your type? To what degree do you just let it be there and trust you're already the role? I had a pilot audition where I tried to act too douchey and it became a flat performance. So
okay, yeah, go ahead, James.
So my thought about that is, when you're in the room and you're working on the role, you don't need to like make that role a douchebag or play that. That is an essential part of you that shines out. Just play the role. Like what's required of this character? What's happening in the scene? You know, what's the function? Like, what are you doing and what's happening? Trust that aspect of you. If you've done your homework right and you're actually selling yourself in the right way, you don't need to bring, force that into anything, because that's your essential nature. You're bringing your truth, right? If you watch an actor, like if you watch a really great actor work, the great actor will transform into that character. But the actor's always there. Like we always see that light shining through that character. So do your homework right as you're marketing so that you're really speaking about your light that you're shining. And then when you get in the room, just be the character and let that light shine through. You don't need to force it at all. And I would say never force it. Like we don't
never force it. Never force it. I mean, if, because some of your guys are going to be, I think, I think, when you're going into the room, you're focused on that very specific aspect of yourself that you found through either visualization or whatever technique that you're working on, that you've become this person. So what I want to make clear is, like, let me give you 2 examples. Number one is when I auditioned for Resident Evil Extinction, which I booked, right? That person inside of me is that bully, but the bully personified, like the bully that just hates everyone. And that rage is very easy for me to access. So I was clearly dropped into the rage before they said Valerie and called me into the room, right? And then there was a lot of action in the scene, right? And so they said, well, what are you going to do when you throw the keys down to Mila's character? And I said, well, I was going to do this. They go, you can't do that. You have to, let's put a chair here and you do that. So they worked with my blocking and we talked about it. So in that moment of time, I stepped out of that. Like I'm very good at stepping out of that rage and talking with the casting and then stepping right back in, because she's there all the time. She doesn't go anywhere and I'm there, so that's something that's an acting technique that takes a while to do, but it's important because, some actors are like, I'm preparing, right? And so it's like, it is kind of like a costume that you put on, like a body costume that you can actually step into it. So you're already that person when you walk into the room, right? Right, James? I mean, that's what you taught me,
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that's important. The other thing I want to say is Rebecca Knowles. So Rebecca Knowles is our client. Her brand is Sunshine, right? And that's who she is. And then it's personified. And, she just did Kimmy Schmidt this spring, right? And she's playing the girl that's making out because, oh, it's like a dream. I get to, she is living that brand. It's so amazing to me how much she's living that brand. And the brand is booking her work. Carolyn Faye Kramer, another one, whose brand, that magic mischief, is living it. And so we start to see, the thing I want you guys to know is that my clients that are specific are the ones that are booking. My clients that are specific are the ones that are booking. The ones that are afraid to jump off and grab that thing, even the ones that are afraid and jump anyway and barely cling to it are booking, right? Are booking big things, right? We've had 2 clients book The Deuce, 2 clients book Marvelous Ms. Maisel. We have, and we're, you know, just in this last couple of weeks. So it's very, very, very exciting. Very exciting. Yay. 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 Okay. We're 4 minutes. Any more questions from out there? Yes. Come on down.
Hi, my name is Art. My question is to you, referring back to the IG and just starting the marketing and as well as getting that brand and creating that brand plan. My question is that I do see a lot of actors using social media as an idea to promote their brand. I wanted to know, do you think that it's a great thing and a great tool to use, especially using creating?
Yes. Yes. And so make sure on August 16th that you come back to Get Seen Studios, because we're going to do something on that. Okay. So yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So make sure you come back. All right. So, great. Thank you. So you guys, I want to say that we're going to be teaching an all-day event on the beach in Ventura, California on Sunday, June 29th.
Not June 29th.
July 29th.
Yeah.
July 29th. Sunday, July 29th on Ventura on the beach. It's the AFT Games. If the clients, so this is what I'm talking about, Elizabeth, all the clients are invited and their families. It's free because I take care of my customers, right? We have to take care of the customers, right? So I always try to do events in different places for my clients. So it is a chance for them to bring their families, but I'm not going to let a group of people, actors, get away from me without doing some deep branding work. So this is an opportunity for you to join us on the beach with all of our clients doing deep branding work. And so if you're going to be in California, don't miss that day. My husband's a chef and he's amazing. He's going to be cooking food, and it's going to be, we're right on the beach and we have a reserved area. It's going to be awesome. So please join us. You can check out the event at theaftgames.com. And Tina's here. She'll post that in there and we'll post it. And I know you're seeing ads for it. It's our summer retreat games. So I wanted to invite you to that. August 16th, we're doing another meetup in Atlanta, and James and I'm going to be interviewing Natalie Friedman that day on how she went from 30,000 to 300,050 in a year, because and how that's helped her acting business and what that's done for it. So the exact answer to your question, we'll be talking about that and how her brand has solidified doing that and what she's known for. So we're going to be talking to her that day. And also last, I want to say we do have our 3-day event coming up in November in Los Angeles. We are going to be selling early bird tickets to the retreat day. It's a 3-day event. And we only have so many tickets for the retreat portion of it. So, but it's a great event, and it's an opportunity for people to come to LA and go out with our clients and meet a bunch of buyers, customers, all at the same time, right? And build relationships with the mothership.
Yep.
So for all of you guys, it might be a trip you want to take November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and we'll talk more about that. But we plan on doing a meetup, and I'll be back to Atlanta again. So I'll be coming back as well. I have an agent there. Elizabeth and I have the same agent.
Yay! Thanks.
It's a small world. All right. So thank you so much for being here today. James, thank you for being here as usual and your great insight.
Nice to see everybody. And
Yeah.
nice to see you guys in Atlanta.
Yeah, in Atlanta. All right. And we'll see you at the Summer Games. Let us know, get your tickets. We are going to have fun this year down at the beach. All right. I'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone in Atlanta.
Bye now.
Bye. Bye, Johnson. Thank you.
Hi, Johnson.